Hello, welcome to my presentation. I am going to be talking about the gender part of the LGBTQ part, since gender identity is something that is not mostly focused as people are more focused on the gender sexuality. The difference is, to put it in simple terms, gender identity is who you sleep as gender sexuality is who you sleep with. So to start off, to understand gender identity, needed to understand also gender expression. So the difference is, like, gender identity is who you are, who do you think you are in your head, who do you believe you are in your heart, not just your head, and who do you like truly see yourself. Gender expression is who do you show yourself as. So do you show yourself as more as a feminine, more masculine, or something in between? So some of the gender identity types, and the most likely the ones you'll counter by, will be transgenders. Transgenders are someone who has changed their sex from their birth sex. They are either female to male or male to female. Their pronouns can change depending on the person. So if it's like a female to male, they would most likely go from he to him, male to female, she to her, or some actually end up identifying with a different one, which is most likely the one coming next, which is non-binary, which will be they and them. So non-binary are people who don't identify with any genders. They don't associate more with a masculine side or a feminine side. They are just in between. So we have some transgenders who would probably be in between. Most likely the non-binaries would say their pronouns are they them. This is just to be somewhere in between. So another one besides the first two that is also common is gender fluid. Gender fluid is someone who identifies with every gender. It's also an umbrella term. So the pronouns will depend on the person. So if one day a person is dressed more feminine, they will go with she her. But if they are more masculine on another day, they would identify with he, him. There are those days, and most likely they would be something in between, which they're a mixture. So they would identify with they, them, and then men would be he, him. Sorry about that. And this is another common one that you would most likely see. After this one, there is also another common one, which will be genderqueer. Genderqueer is the same as gender fluid, but it's also like another umbrella term. It just depends on what the person prefers to be going well as, like which one do they feel more comfortable with. So the pronouns will also depend on the person. So some persons who are genderqueer will also go by they, them, she, her, or he, him, or zin. So the genderqueer is just another umbrella term. Other types that I didn't mention are agender, pangender, bigender, demigirl or boy, then polygender, trigender, gender flux, and intersex. So pangender, polygender, gender flux are similar to gender queer and gender fluid, since they are like they identify with all genders, and the gender might vary depending what day. Trigender and bigender and demi-boy and demi-girl will be just more like trans. They would identify with a different gender one day and the other, so similar to also the other ones that I mentioned, but it just depends on the person. One will feel more masculine on the other one than feminine. See, bigender, they would be more with feminine and masculine, since they only believe in two genders, while trigender would be similar to that, but the only thing is trigender believe there is more than just two genders, and they believe in that other gender, so it's just another one. So we have agender and intersex. Agender, to starters, is like non-binary. They don't associate with any gender and don't feel like any belongs to them. And intersex is someone who was born with the women and men anatomy. So they're just someone who is both at the same time because of the anatomy they were born with. So why is this important? This is important because they've been around for a long time, and they've been the ones who've been getting most say of who they are and changing their gender. They are people who need help and love as well, and they just want to be feel better and understood in the body that they want to be in and feel more comfortable with. So ways to help is ask them what their pronouns are. Ask them, for example, their pronouns are really simple, like he, him, she, her, they, them, their, them. Respect their gender of choice. They're already doing a lot of work with getting themselves out there. It's not that easy saying they're a different gender. Many people misgender them, and that's why they ask for pronouns. And it's really hard to express yourself with the body you feel most close with. And last one is love them for being them. Many of these people are already getting so many hate for being in a different um gender, for being a different gender, and it's just much better if you just love them for being them, and it won't harm anyone. So hope you liked my presentation, and I hope you learned a little bit more of the gender identity part of the LGBTQ. Thanks for watching.